And so thank you all for coming. For anyone I haven't met, my name is Rebecca. I have met everyone except for, what's your name? Michael. Hi, Michael. I'm Rebecca. Thanks for joining us today. We might have some more people wondering. I know a couple people said they're running late, and you might be joining us on the call. But we will just get started, and if you have not signed in and gotten an agenda, please do that. All right. Everybody ready to jump in? Okay. Actually, I'm going to ask, Sheila is supposed to be joining us on to take notes remotely. She can choose it, but she is not able to be here, and she is not on a call. Would someone be willing to take notes today in case she is not able to jump on? If not, we do have it recording, but if anyone would be willing to at least take notes of any decisions that are made or anything like that. Hey guys, the agendas are over there, and then if any officers haven't gotten these papers, I have some extra pages for you. Would anybody, it doesn't have to be detailed, it's just any decisions you make or anything like that. And anyone in the room is welcome to volunteer for that position if they want to. I just want to make sure we have a record if possible. Your takers, we do have the recording, so.
If I wasn't late and early, I would, I swear.
Yeah, I know. All right. We'll just go off the recording then. So if anyone has questions later, I will direct you to that.
I volunteered, but I can barely read my
And hopefully she'll get on. I know she can sit, so. Everybody, good? You're what?
It is listening against you.
Oh. So I said, welcome everybody. This is our first, besides August, this is our first real attempt at an evening meeting, and I do hope that it works out for some other individuals to join us. The first thing we will do, well, just as a reminder, when we do vote for things, officers only are the only ones who can vote. However, before we have a vote, we will have a discussion, and that will be opened up to anybody to ask questions and voice their opinion before we make the vote on it. So the first thing we need to do is approve the August minutes, which have been posted on the website as pending minutes for the last month. Does anyone have any comments about the minutes before we approve them? Officers? Anyone make a motion to approve the August minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Second. All in favor? Great. So what we're going to do is jump into our team report. There's a lot of activities going on. We may not have reports for everything because some of our things won't be happening until later. Hi. I'm Rebecca. Nice to join. What's your name? Thank you, Natasha. Thanks for joining us, Natasha. There's an agenda in the back. You can get it. I don't know if you got it or not. Perfect. Thank you. Glad you're here. We're going to go through those, and then there might be some times where we have some moments if anyone has questions. But to be respectful of time, we do have a section at the end for any more detailed questions or comments somebody might have. So the first thing is our staff appreciation team, which is overseen by Gina and Jessica, and we'll jump right in it.
Okay, so we have Elizabeth Gibson. She is doing the gift cards and teacher birthdays, and she's really taken off with that, so that's been successful, and we just need to get her a few more birthdays. She's doing great. And then our back-to-school luncheon, that seems to have gone off without any issue. Everybody seems to really enjoy the food, and they were very thankful for their little gift. So that seems to be work out well. We do have a teacher lounge coordinator, and I believe her name is Jessica. And the wish list update, Sam was not able to make it. But everybody has sent me updates, so I don't know if you want her update or not. She basically just recaps the recent changes with Sign Up Genius.
Do you want to share about it, or do you want me to share about it either way? you don't mind.
I don't mind
You
reading.
don't have to get into all the details, but
Right.
let anyone know. Just to
Right.
put it out there.
It just says that recent changes to the Sign of Genius wish list include requests being limited and filtered to the teachers per administration. So the teachers will give the administration the list, and then administration will, I assume, filter it on to us. Instead of them just coming right to SAM. I believe that's how they're working now. And the teachers have been told to contact their homeroom parent, and their homeroom parent will communicate with other parents and scholars to see about getting requests filled. Being that middle school does not have homeroom parents, there is currently no plan in place that PFI is aware of to get supply requests filled for middle school teachers, so we'll have to figure out how we do that. And then currently the wish list is only for specialty and unique items. The only teachers that are exempt from this rule are special teachers. So this includes, but not limited to, band, art, the makerspace room that, I don't know if everybody knows about the makerspace room upstairs in the middle school. That is excluded, PE, maintenance, and anything technology. They can add as they please. Is how I'm understanding it. And then administration will instruct us further on the procedures, on any changes. These directions are still pending. Only recent items that have been added to the Sign of Genius wish list have been filtered and okayed to administration only. So that's basically our update on the wish list, and we're just kind of trying to figure out where it's going.
Yeah.
So it's a big change from last year, and maybe it was communicated before, but this is the first time hearing of this. So
It's been evolved.
They're evolving changes that are taking place.
Apparently, it was, the administration felt like it was a little overwhelming. People were asking for things that we already had.
Okay.
And so they sort of pumped the brakes hard on it. And then, so what was shared is what we've been told, but they're still working on the system. I think they want to make sure we're being more useful with the resources the school already has, and not asking parents for things that maybe someone in another room already has, or asking for things that the school should be providing, not us, They want to have a little bit more oversight to make sure we're not looking greedy, to be honest, which is fair. Yeah. But it was, the way we had originally presented it last year and at the beginning of this year was, don't ask your parents for things, come to the wish list. And so sort of opposite. So what we've told the teachers is, we've been asked to change the way these things are done. We don't know exactly what that looks like, but it sounds like it's just going to be, they get approval of their administration. And I guess that keeps a little more control, that they're not asking for things that are absurd.
Yeah, thank you for the clarification. I just needed that because at the beginning of the school year, I did communicate with one new teacher about how we should do it. So
Yeah.
I want to go back and set the
I'm sure she would probably say, but I understand.
I'm administration communicate the changes to the teachers, just to make sure it's coming from them.
Yeah.
So that the message is clear. I don't know if that's been done or not. This is all evolved sort of in the last week, so.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Clarification. Thank you.
I do want to share, when we talk about the birthday cards, Mayor designed a new birthday card for this year. We do one every year, and so I wanted to pass it around and let everybody see it. So you can see the pretty new card. It's going to go to all the teachers. I know, it's cute. I think they're going to like it. So everybody can see the real thing. And for anyone who doesn't know, we give a $5 gift card to every staff member on their birthday. And what Elizabeth has done this year to step it up a little bit, and you can talk about it if you like, but she's gone through the teachers' favorite things, so she can give them a gift card that we know they appreciate. So, do you want to share anything?
I was just going to say September birthday cards and gift cards have all been signed, sealed, and delivered, and I delivered them on two different times. I'll probably do that in the future so that they coincide with that different code. And then I purchased 30 gift cards from 7 different stores, and it's just been a huge September. So it's a faculty favorite sheet in the community.
I think that'll be a really nice touch, taking something that they always appreciated and stepping it up even higher. So, that was an awesome. Elizabeth's been great since we.
It's been fun, and thank you for this.
Absolutely. And Anybody else have any comments or questions about the staff appreciation activities, or did you have anything else?
I had some from Amy, and then Amy basically said she started reaching out, or researching, staff appreciation week and had some good ideas. She did mention that budget is going to be challenging, and so she wanted to see if at some other point we could see about getting donations or fundraiser, and she wants to put a list of her ideas together and costs, and perhaps meet up in January and we can all talk about it and discuss it. And then I can't find her email right now, but Rachel. Yeah, Rachel. She just said that all is well with PFI. She's reached out to all interested and that she would send more information in November and let them know how they can help. And also Jessica responded to us as well as the person who is in charge of coffee supply. So
Great.
So everybody's going to for hot chocolate.
When they're
Yeah, I just figured we would kind of touch base with everybody, and then Jessica and I we sent our email together so that we could all both know what's going on, just in case somebody can't be somewhere and the other one goes.
We had also run the idea last year of doing teachers' appreciation in line with when everyone.
That's what it's going to be.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's that first week in May, which is aligned with the national. So
good.
Yeah. Can we just close that door? I think that generator won't be. It just stopped making noise, but. I think it's last time I heard this buzzing noise the entire recording. Okay. Any additional questions about that?
I have expressed interest in the pie spot, but I did not get any email.
Oh, okay.
In the hot chocolate thing.
You know what though? So we've made a database of all these volunteer sheets, but there are still a lot that haven't been entered.
Yeah.
It is probably your sheet.
And I would have your sheet at my house.
Yeah, we have a stack there.
Filling it out.
The good thing is, she had like a stack that high of the volunteers,
Yes,
but we
she
haven't entered them all. So you're probably on that, and she's making a note when she enters them in the database, so you could so each person can know who they've last contacted. So you're probably still in there.
But honestly, I mean, reach out again if you don't get to you, and it's something you're really interested in, to let us know. Because we'll accept any help. So.
Well, and our goal with that database is
Really?
we always have the time to, and then hopefully there's these people who want to actually plan the event, not just work at it.
Yeah.
And our idea is maybe we reach out to those people and never even have to go into connection. You know, we already have to see each other interested. Let's keep it out of. And then we're not asking. We already have people who said they're interested. Let's let them choose first. And so we're trying that with a few things, and we'll see if the people remember they signed up for things. In a month from now. So, but yeah, you're probably in there. But I'll make a note too.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the student and family engagement. We have the home parent update. Maria, do you want to share that first?
Mm-hmm. They have all been filled. So I have one more parent from K's for this. The only thing that I'm still waiting on is confirmation on the meeting date and time from admin.
What date did you request again?
I think it was October 3rd at 6 or 6:30.
And verbally, I think I was told, I think that's approved, but we haven't received it in writing. So we're waiting for the in writing before we tell families. We'll try to follow up on that. So yeah, I do have the honeymoon parent guidelines, which I shared with you. I only have one copy of this, but if anyone would like to look at them, it has been reviewed by administration. So there's really no other edits, but if anybody would like to see them, you're welcome to look at the sheet. I brought it. Anyway, yeah.
Just for that. You know I need glasses. I went and got them yesterday.
Do you have anything regarding middle school and how that's
Okay, so middle school, we are still in the process of figuring out how we want to utilize the homeroom parents since we don't have class parties, because that's basically how they're utilized in K through 5. It's their big day. So I have contacted everyone that has expressed interest, and then yesterday, late last night, there was 2 that I saw were added, so I'll be reaching out to them as well. I contacted Mr. Newberry, asking for input from the staff on how they would like it to utilize. Would be the best way to use these volunteers that are ready and willing. They have a staff meeting this week, and he will be scheduling with me either Thursday or Friday next week, so we can go over everything and hopefully come up with a game plan how we're going to do home parents for middle school.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. So it's a work in progress. Again, this is something that hasn't really existed. Several years ago, they had them, but they didn't work. You know, like they didn't do anything.
So we didn't really know how to utilize them. So we were hoping maybe we could have an end of year like picnic or something for the middle school that's special for the middle school, that those parents would help, say, organize, coordinate. You know, that kind of highlights the middle school.
And then New Parent Navigators, that's been under you too.
New Parent Navigators, yes. It's kind of in that gray area as well, because the way that it was kind of handled this year, it was the school did the events that New Parent Navigators would have done. So it's kind of in limbo, and we need to figure out where exactly it should apply.
Yeah,
when it was first created, it was school, and it came under PFI, but now it's kind of in the middle somewhere. So we need to have a conversation to figure out where it should truly lie and the best way to go about that. Because either way, to me, it doesn't matter where it lies, as long as these families are being contacted.
Right, but it's not worth saying we have this group that doesn't work. So
right.
That's where find out how it works and make it work. Otherwise, we're just looking good on paper, but not doing anything.
Yeah.
That's what I wondered. I hadn't heard much about it, so I wondered if it was functioning this year. But
the school pretty much did it. Yeah, like they did the whole marketing with the connection blasts and everything that I would have done in the background. They kind of took care of it. It was nice because we did have, some family situations come up, so it did help.
Good.
So either way,
people inquire. They come to you, right?
Yeah. And I did have a family contact me saying that they must have been on the wait list, got off the wait list. I reached back out to them, but I haven't heard back from them, so I'm not sure if they chose to accept their position or not. So then I just forward that information on to Georgia. Can I just continue with?
Yeah.
Would I? Sure. Okay. We have the play concessions coming up in November. We have a coordinator, Jaya Razarati. I apologize if I say your last name wrong. So she's going to be a point of contact the day, those Friday and Saturday of the play, November 16th and 17th, or 15th and 17th. I apologize for not having my dates in front of me. The study was set up by Mrs. Ballard, so she is the one that's kind of organizing everything and keeping track of everything. So Mrs. Razarani will just be the point of contact in charge of the money, getting things set up, and all that kind of stuff. And I have forwarded her the volunteers that have marked on their sheet. And then the other thing was catering, but that's underneath something else. Okay. Charlotte Tucker.
Oh, yeah, you're working on that one.
Very nice. So Charlotte Tucker, we wanted, I talked to some of the middle school teachers about how we could even generate interest in the middle school to attend some of the events that we have outside school day. So our biggest one obviously is the checkers, and they said, well, we didn't even know we had this. It was never really effectively marketed to the middle school. And one of the teachers said last year's the first year she was even aware that they had the checkers game. And I said, well, how can we make this work for the middle school? And they said, well, can we market it to the middle school first, maybe with some competitions, because they are a very competitive group, which I think is great. They model healthy competition, between the staff members and the kids catch on to it. So I have been in conversation with Veronica and Rebecca about coming up with some sort of competition where the highest grade level would get some portion of the proceeds to use towards their grade level. We used to have a carnival where the different grade levels could do booths, and what they meant those booths they could use for their grade level. We don't have that anymore. So the 6th grade, they like to fundraise to help absorb some of the costs for Camp Thunderbird. And they didn't really have anything they could use. They did do some Hydro Flask stickers at the open house to help absorb some of the costs and be able to go for 2 nights. So we thought maybe this would be a way that, it would get the teachers on board as well to help encourage the kids to get these tickets sold, and market it to their families. We have to sell 100, is that right? 100 tickets in order to get the kickback, which is $5. $5, right? $5.
More than that, we still get $5.
Right. So 100 is the minimum. So if we go 100, we don't get anything back. Everything just goes to the checkers. So we have to sell at least 100 tickets. But I think if we get the middle school, and right now is a good time to market with the checkers because they won the cup. So they can see their winning checkers home team. So we're in the process of coming up with different ways to market to middle school, and I hope to have that rolled out by the middle of October.
Do we have a date yet?
Yes, March 14th.
It's a Saturday. So
And we also have a child that can ride the Zamboni, a group of kids to sing God Bless America, and a group of kids to welcome the checkers back onto the ice.
And they always do.
Yeah, and they'll
have a lot of stuff.
And then if you go.
That's if you go. If you buy a ticket, right. So then we need to figure out
there.
Obviously we want the lower school as well to be involved with some of those events that they could do at the game. So we just kind of need to figure out, okay, how we're going to mix it all together and what's going to be the most effective ways to come up with the students that are able to do those different opportunities.
All right. I'm going to speak on the other Spirit nights. I don't know if Tony talks to either of you guys, but I always get all the updates with him on this book. I do have a little bit of feedback, though, that I will want opinions on. So as we shared before, this year the Chick-fil-A Spirit Nights are grade level specific. We had the first one, that was 5th grade, and it was only promoted to 5th graders. They got an email flyer, they got a paper flyer, and a little sticker. And we didn't put it in the connection. We did it on Facebook, but we didn't do it in the connection. The reason, what we had discussed last year was people say there's too much stuff in the connection. So this was one thing we thought we could take it out. And again, we weren't asking the whole school to go. We were saying go to your grade Chick-fil-A night once a year. Don't try to go to all of them. Afterwards, the day after Chick-fil-A night, there were a few people who commented they would have gone if they'd known about it, who were in a different grade. So it has been brought up, should we continue to advertise in the connection while we're saying proceeds benefit X grade, we still tell everybody about it. It might earn us a little extra. It might just be, there's pros and cons, but nothing's major. It's just I want us to make a plan on how we're going to do it. As information, the 5th grade Spirit Night did get $138, which is about on par with what we did last year. So a little, maybe even a little more. Most of those nights were maybe around 125 or so, some a little bit higher. So by just promoting the 5th grade, we still made the same or more. So we just need to decide how we do it going forward. Now the next one is 1st grade. I expect them to have a ton of people go because it's 1st grade. So I don't know how you guys feel about if we should promote it in the connection or if we should just do it for 1st grade families. So I would like that to be up for discussion.
Let me ask you this. Are we doing a contest?
Let's just take it in.
I say,
If there's a chance of making more money, why wouldn't we? It's not hurting anything.
Yeah.
Just market it clearly. I don't see why not. As long as we specify it is 1st grade Spirit Night and the money goes to them, but all are welcome, well then it's the parent's choice. And if they have a 3rd grader, they're like, well, I'm not going to try so hard, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if maybe somebody's out there anyway, and they're like, oh yeah, that's right, it's Spirit Night, well, why not?
Well, my thought was Spirit Night was on Tuesday. Maybe we just do it the one week. We don't run it for multiple weeks. We just do it the Thursday prior, one run, do the most recent connection, and it's out there. We're kind of hitting this with push.
What was the reasoning for breaking it up by grade level?
We're actually going to give every bit of the money that comes from that grade level spirit night to that grade. So now 5th grade has $138, they can do something for their scholars with.
Well, it's sort of incentive
Yeah.
to get the teachers to help promote, like, hey
Right.
kids, don't forget to tell your parents, because then the teachers get to do what they want with the money.
Yeah.
I try to make it more popular.
I think we do promote it per grade, but then put it in the connection and let everyone know. Because sometimes kids are out and about the Chick-fil-A anyway. If it's parent night, they're like, oh, wait a minute, this is going to benefit Socrates. Something so that they can
And if they can't go to their grade level, they can somebody.
Yeah.
So, I mean, somewhere the money's been funneled back into our school somehow. I like Brittany.
About just getting it out there to the public. I just have the new to the carpool experience, but you've got loads of time while you're sitting there. Is there any chance like a sandwich board could be put out on the spirit night?
There are signs that
Look at?
did not go out in September, but Tony usually puts them out.
Okay.
And then usually the cow comes. So whoever's graded is I do
So
that.
I just see the cow.
Yeah.
I was just curious, like just little.
And there was
next
stickers.
night.
There was
Now
stickers.
holds up like a sign that says what
Well,
grade.
you know what? Maybe a teacher from that grade or a student from that grade can sort of promote it, because then we're not saying, or one of
Somebody.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt to get that reminder almost for
Yeah.
by the end of it. Hey, I can do that for dinner.
Well, unless the kids guilt the parents a little bit by going, make sure the kids know, let them guilt the parents into a little
Well,
bit.
and that was kind of the idea, like, hey, what the things I've experienced with my own children, and I'm sure you all have as well, when it comes to an event, they might say, well, I don't know who's going to be there, so then they choose not to go. But if we're narrowing it down to just your grade, if they all say they're going to go, then they'll all want to go.
Yeah.
And so this is sort of an attempt of transitioning that culture into we participate. We show up to things. Stay away from me? Yeah. Yeah. And it's because they want us.
Well, Chick-fil-A makes that decision. They break things down into, like,
It's how they
the
make that
neighborhoods,
change,
if you will.
Now, the thing about it that is why we end up getting so much money for it is you have to use the app, but it's anyone who uses the app. They don't have to say Socrates. So anyone who comes to the drive-thru with their app, we still get money from them. Now, I do have, for if anyone hasn't seen it, if anyone else here wants to see it, you are welcome to make notes on these papers if you want to. This is the flyer that Chick-fil-A provided, and I tweaked it a little bit. If there's any parts of it that aren't clear or anything that would incentivize you to come, we can change that. But this is sort of what they gave us. So anyone's welcome to take one of these, write on it. I have not printed the first grade ones yet, so I will be happy to make any suggested changes and then modify.
I wish we could actually sit down with someone viewing dropout students, because some people that come to class, they already have their dinner planned. If they didn't know that night was Chick-fil-A night, they might not do it because they already have something.
Quick
So
question.
maybe something for drop-off to say, like, hey, don't make plans for this week.
Weren't we looking for more jobs for the 5th grade girls
Yeah, that's a great idea.
to have something else to do? And if they're just notified in advance, like with student council last year, there were a couple times Lila was asked specifically to be there early to do a morning job. Maybe she should put that out there and let them have that.
That's a fun idea, even if it's just a big poster board that's like Chick-fil-A tonight at those sides.
And I mean, make it and hang on to it and use it again next month.
That's a good idea.
Because you're right. I mean, there are times I have something in my crock pot back home in the carpool.
All right, so before the night's over, you guys are welcome to give me any suggestions on that. Anybody else have any comments or questions on the student engagement team at the moment? Or do you guys have anything else? Okay. I will share at this point, I think, because it's time to share this. Under the student family engagement, we've had a whole bunch of other activities that were traditionally sponsored by student council. And our goal, as that I shared in August, was to partner with them. We have had a few discussions with administration on that, and what has been decided is that PFI will not financially be involved in these events. We can still help promote the volunteer aspect of it, but they're not in any way our event. And so there's still school events, like say the 1st and 3rd grade dance. This is a school event, student council will be heavily involved. we have the volunteer database we've collected, and basically we control pump the sign-up payments out to those people. But otherwise, if any of us are involved, it's a parent, not a PFI. Does that make sense? And there's a few things. We had talked about doing concessions with some of them, and they want to keep them in community events. They don't want it to have that fundraising appeal. Like, we're not asking for, they pay one flat price and they get a snack. They don't bring $20 and have to buy things. They wanted it to go that way. There are a few events like the play, talent shows, and something else that, potentially the kindergarten movie night, which I'll talk about in a little bit, that we are still going to sell concessions. But the thing with the concessions is those, if it's, say, the play, any money we sell at the concessions will cover our costs, and then any money that's made will actually support drummers. And so when we do the talent show, any money that's made will actually support student council. So this is going to be our way to give back to all of the organizations at the school. So we're going to do the service, but the money's not going into the PFI cost. So when we get into the budget and stuff later, there's a lot of zeros next to a lot of events, and that's why, because it's going to be a wash in the end. We're not trying to make money. We're just going to offer the service to families, and in the meantime, maybe earn a few $100 for these different groups at the school. So they're no longer listed under a student and family engagement team event because it's a school event. Fundraising stuff. First I have Announcements with Live, and then also the campus collection. So
thank you to anyone who volunteered this year for the festival. It was, I don't think it was as hot as in years past, but it was still hot. We were required to close our booth Saturday night at 5:30 because of the concert they were having that night. And we were on the hill in Stumptown Park, and they wanted the grass cleared for concert goers. So I still don't know how that will affect our total amount. Still waiting to hear back.
From what I think happened in the past, they just divided amongst everyone. They don't have your time.
Well, I think what somebody told me is that it's the size of your booth, what the booth actually brought in, like a thing, like a percentage or something, because, we were required to have 4 volunteers at all times, which after the first night it was clear it was overkill. But at the same time, and these are things that I'll take up with Robbie when we get a debrief. But they didn't give our booth the shade umbrella that the others had, but they really promoted at the volunteer meeting. They're like, everybody's got umbrellas this year, this is great, and we got there and we didn't have it. So there's some things that they need to work on to help the volunteers, I think, but it was good. It really was. So we had 35 volunteers total throughout the weekend, and like I said, I'm still waiting for them to get back to me to let me know when we can expect to hear what our amount raised is. So hopefully I'll hear something soon.
Last year,
Oh, really? I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't check before I put it out. I would not be surprised.
Okay, we'll let you know.
I'll be surprised if I hear from her again.
Until next
year. Communication is sort of normal way. But then to just go right back into box pots. The updated 2018-2019 amount is $2,200. So we'll get a big check, I think, in October. I don't know the exact breakdown for that, but it's like $1,400, I believe, we still have yet to get. And then anything that I've turned in between now and November, we will add to that. So, but again, with the box tops, with the new program with the digital box tops, I think it's going to be a challenge, but because to date so far we only have $55. But that, when you break it down, that's quite a bit because it's only 10 cents. So it does add up quickly. I put our goal at only 1,000 for this year because I wasn't sure with the change. But we still do have the physical clips, and I do have a sheet that I want to give the teachers. And I was really worried because it was going to be difficult to encourage classroom competition that we have in the past, but we can because you can do so with the clips, but you can also get credit when you do the scan. So, and I can print a report that tells me who has scanned what amount. So we can incorporate classroom competitions again. So I'm really going to make sure that I'm going to put this in their boxes tomorrow, that the teachers are aware of this and they can give it to the students.
And so we can still use that and put the box up on it?
Yes, absolutely.
Because I have that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And you don't even have to put them on here. You can just put them in a baggie.
But then you have to do that?
Well, no, they do not have to be turned in this way. Just to kind of give you an idea of the process, these come in, I count them regardless if they're expired or not. So the child, not necessarily the child, the class gets the credit for what was turned in. But then I have to go through and remove any that's expired. So, and then you can only turn in 20 allotments of 25. So I can't just turn in one of these with 20 on them. I've got to go through. So it doesn't matter because they come in all forms. I mean, I get them very neatly clipped. I get ripped. Yeah, they work. They do. They see the expiration and the little code in the corner. So I'll make sure that all the teachers have these in their books, in their mailboxes, and it gives credit.
When you scan it, do you have to do something different to get the credit, or how does it work?
There's a new icon there, and it's a star, and it says to tap it to enter your credit.
Should I get credit from
I haven't had one since you told me that exists yet. So.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to.
And I was telling Gretchen, maybe we do a video, like someone records me scanning something. Like we do a video of someone showing just, like literally I have been putting my receipts in my car, and when I'm sitting in carpool, I scan it and chaperone myself. So it takes me 5 minutes, and I'm doing it while I'm sitting in the carpool line doing nothing else. So
That's what it looks like.
okay.
But I don't know which wholesale store because I have all three. One of them I scan and receive and then I send it.
I've had a lot of difficulties too, and just recently, the granola bars, they were accounted for, but not the cereal. And the cereal, I had to make sure there was a box out on it, and there was, but I'm not sure why there's so many glitches. And I didn't know if it was my phone or if it was in general.
Probably the system.
Yeah, and because the receipts expire 14 days after they sell, there's no way to hold on to them and try to, get credit for them down the road. But yeah, you do have to scan them within 14 days. Yeah, they do expire. So, and I think that's another negative. So please keep your feedback coming in to me so I can relay it back to the company because I'm still trying to wrap my head around why they decided to do that because, I don't know.
I thought you just had to scan the item. I think it's...
You had to scan the receipt and you had to verify that. I know. Yeah.
All right. I wasn't waiting for that through, but that's why I'm like, why am I scanning the receipt?
But I'll collect the box tops for the monthly competitions. I'll start getting them this month for September to announce at the end of the month, and then we'll award the I want to say trophies, but the banners, the winning banners for the Coke rewards and the box tops. So we'll do that, and then you just want me to run through real quick the rest. Okay. Sure. Okay. The Harris Teeter education, so far we've got $95 to date and 90 participants. So one of the things that they suggest is a bring your BIC card to school day. So maybe the next time we know parents are going to be here because all we need is their name and their phone number, and we can go in and link their card ourselves. So every time they scan their BIC card, we get a percentage of that. So that's one thing to think about that we can promote next time. A lot of parents are going to be on here. Every year. Every year.
Yeah, I've got a sheet over there.
What about Amazon Smile? Is that every year?
No, I think Amazon Smile, once you link it and then you use the Smile account, then it's
You have to go to the Smile app.
But you have to go to Smile at, Smile.Amazon. So, Coke Rewards, we just got a $148 check. I have got a big duffel bag of Coke Rewards, but I've kind of been setting on them because last year they had a week where they were doubled. So I'm kind of waiting. Even if we wait until May, they don't expire. So I'm just setting on them because I have a feeling we're going to have another one here in the next couple of months. So I think that's huge.
Those we just hand in.
Yeah, those you just get, and then, I'll get some volunteers, and we enter the codes, and we're good to go. So, and then the Shopperoo, we've got 19 participants, and we need to, for every 50,000 points, you get $100 the school gets. And if you sign up for Shopperoo, they've got it broken down by grade and person. So you could really get some good competition going in the Shopperoo account, and I don't know if there's an expiration, but I think it's 14 days.
You think I can go doing stuff for school?
Shopperoo, whatever.
When you're done,
It's more than just like virtual.
you have to tell me.
Oh, you can
with your phone.
I mean, you can see everything. Sometimes
Because
those
I
things.
slipped in her. Okay.
So,
I can't know. It's downstairs.
I did not get anything official from Jenna, but I know she had started the school store.
She just just a little bit. She's one update. She said she has a regular volunteer for all 3 days of the school store,
Great.
which is great. And the kids are excited. It's a big store in Venice, and so things are good with her.
So in 5th grade, now that they're in their own building, we had one of the black checks. We used it for various storage and PFI rooms. It's actually locked in their workroom.
That's what she was saying.
Yeah.
She was saying nobody seems to mind.
Yeah. It's closed. It's like a table. And then once a week, she can open the chest and have all the stuff for the kids.
That's what she was saying. So I thought that was fine. But
You're up. And I think you had to go, so it's a good time.
Okay, so for the Educate update, our official total, as far as the check that will be written to us from Educate, is $2,339.74. We made an additional $150 because we had a family who, for whatever reason, pulled out of the school sort of toward the end of the summer. It was too late for Educate to keep their kits, so they sent them to us anyway with instructions on how to send them back. But then we actually had a mom who was a little bit mistaken, thought she ordered and she didn't, and happened to line up with one of the grade levels of the box that was left behind. So it was this, but it was additionally the $150 check, which you guys have already received. So if you haven't gotten the check from Educate yet, it should be on its way.
okay.
It should be headed this way.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't remember last year's number exactly, but it's around the same as last year. I can't remember exactly.
I mean, I feel like we did fairly well. We sold 182 kits. Now, some of those were smaller kits that are for elective in middle school.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there were some smaller ones that weren't high in dollar value, but there were a lot of kits. Take my word for it.
Yes. It's fun. And I look out for a teeny bit of it.
So,
I don't have to go to the store all day. What did you want to share about potentially looking?
sure. We actually had some challenges that I believe we faced because of disorganization on Educate's part. the way that they sent us things was really confusing, really time-consuming. We were told, really very last minute, that they were cutting off their early bird date as July 1st. Honey, I have not even thought about school on July 1st. So Rebecca and I insisted that they extend it because what that was going to do is send the kits that were ordered after that to homes. Well, part of the incentive for ordering is because it's here. You just show up and it's magic and here it is. And so we felt like if people were paying this for it without the service of it showing up on their kid's desk, we weren't going to get the same sales out of it. So we really pushed them and said, no, that's really not okay. That's not enough. We need August 1st. Now, as a result of doing that, they sent us 2 separate lists. I don't feel it was necessary. I don't think it would have taken them much more time, plus like customer service guys, to just combine the 2 lists. But what they did is they sent us an early bird list and like a last minute list. So everything ordered before August 1st was on one and after was on another. So in order to get our numbers right, when we were making sure that everything was where it was supposed to be, like the pallets came with 2nd grade and 5th grade and 3rd grade girls, and then the rest of 3rd grade over here, and then 8th grade here. It was just, it was nuts. And before we could do anything, we had to organize it into grade levels. Then we had to like do the math, combining the numbers, and it was really just far more complicated than it needed to be, and I feel like it was on them. It took way more time than we thought it would, way more volunteers. Thank God people showed up, or I would still be here. You would all be out of luck with your school supplies. They would not be on your desk. So I think that Rebecca, it was a lot. Rebecca sent me some suggestions of other companies that do the same thing. So I am going to spend a little bit of time kind of shopping around and discuss with them the issues we face with Educate, and are these going to also be issues with you guys, and talk about early bird deadlines because that was kind of early. And then also like the kickback to the PFI, is it the same? And then I can bring the options to a later meeting and we can chat about where our best thought is going forward. But that was not okay.
Did you get any feedback from the teachers? Like, were the supplies good from Educate?
I got feedback from last year where they were saying that there were a few things they weren't crazy about. And so when they sent their list to me in April of last year, they brought those things up to me and I shared them with Educate, and I did not have any of that this year. They had said, hey, the glue was awful, so I told Educate, we really need a better brand. Give us a brand name, even if it's an extra $1. They were dried up last year, so what's the point? So there were a few little things. I remember the glue being one, but there were others, and I was able to share that with Educate. And I give them credit. They fixed things like that with no problem. And our rep was really apologetic for the chaos of what happened. And when we kind of put our foot down and said, no, July 1st won't work, she adjusted. It was way more difficult than it had to be. It just didn't have to be that bad. I mean, they're getting paid for it. We're not. I feel like they ought to be taking on more of the work that we ended up taking on.
It wasn't like that last year. We helped a little.
It should never be like it was.
Organized. I mean, I do know what you mean by it came like girls, and you were like, wait a minute.
Well, and nothing was together. I mean, literally on this palette, there are 4 different grades. Half the seconds here, half the seconds across the room.
They were labeled by really, they weren't labeled by students, and she had to go in and label the students.
And not only that, they sent me the labels. Okay, fine, whatever, I'll print out labels. They didn't send me all of the labels. And so I brought this up to our rep. And again, I give her credit. She literally that day brought them physically to the school and left them here with my name on them. But they were the same labels I already had, so I still didn't have the whole set of labels. So what we had to do was go through and label what we had and then look back at the list of the parents who had ordered for their children and write the names in on the boxes. And this is all on top of having to divide them by class to send them.
And you're in the lobby of the intermediate building, which is the only place where we can get pallets in.
With teachers literally ducking and dodging pallets of boxes trying to set up their classrooms. And there were like 8 kids among the ones of us that were volunteering here who were here for like 6 hours. It was just a circus.
So PFI bought the dominant pizza.
God bless you.
Really fast, it was worth it. I did not see the pizza version. Is that the only company that does it?
No, I'm gonna shop around.
Will they give us, because I know when we did it, however many years ago, the first time, we got samples from every, like, they gave us a sample kit.
Yeah, you should be able to get it.
We got to look at them.
I will definitely ask.
Yeah.
This was my first year doing it, and it was not our first year with Educate, so perhaps they didn't feel that it was necessary because we'd worked with them before.
Right, yeah.
But that's definitely something that I can talk about when I'm calling around trying to find something.
Yeah, just to find the difference, just so we can compare.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like I said.
Well, even saying how the boxes come, like the Educate, the reason we chose them, their boxes were really nice, you know, like,
Yeah.
there's some other companies that might not be as structurally sound as they were.
Oh, yeah.
Like that, so.
I definitely have a lot of questions, and then we'll just have to kind of write down pros and cons for each company and go from there. It was a hot mess, y'all. Hot mess.
Yeah, it's definitely that. Sorry.
Yeah, so we'll reassess, but Bernie did great. Just give her props. I know it was a headache, but she did awesome. Fran, would you or I like to give the spirit wear? I have it, but I'm sure you do as well.
I don't have it in front of me, but I can get it.
I can speak about it if you want. I have this stuff right here.
Okay.
So, as you all know, we did the July early bird spirit wear sale online. We sold during the middle school mixer. We sold during the popsicle thing that was K-5. We sold at open house, and then we did a back-to-school online sale. All of those items together, sales were $12,768. We did have some discounts for the early bird online sale that we offered, and we had one refund, and then there is a fee that we pay through Square in order to use the credit card. And then, so we ended up, and then Maria, it's not all in the budget yet, but she had to then buy the supplies. And so we actually ended up netting, in the end, $3,284.69. Inventory that will be on hand when she is finished fulfilling all of these back-to-school orders will be over $6,000 worth of inventory we still have. And we sold 137 of the Owl Nation t-shirts, which we were giving $3 per shirt to athletics, so we will be able to give $411 to athletics. As a comparison to that $12,768, last year, same event, same time frame, but not promoted as by now we're not going to sell till November, $6,402. So we almost, over doubled, almost doubled.
Got to get those puppies before November.
Yeah, so I think that we have some kinks in the system to work out. The back to school, the early bird sale, we wanted people to pick up at open house, and a lot of people did not come. So then we didn't have home runs. And online, we have a spot where you can put the child's name, but I can't make it mandatory. So we didn't even have all the children's names. We had parents' names. So it took Maria a little longer than expected to deliver those items because she had to then find out what child went with it and then find out their home room. It was messy. So she would like to do some sort of a pickup day, maybe on a day the uniform closet's open before school next year, more than one time with these
Or can we also have them put in the comment season name?
I have it, but I can't make it required. I have it in there to do it, but like two or three people probably.
That's what I did when I ordered. I put the name.
Yeah, I don't think people thought. Unfortunately, the website we're using doesn't. It's we don't have the free-ish. So, but I mean that was a real question of is this a feature we can pay for? It is not. It's not something. There's been a lot of people who have asked because many places use Square online stores. People are asking, especially in schools, and Square has said maybe we'll have it someday. So I don't know why. It seems like it'd be easy, but at the time it's not an option. But I think the rest of it works. So we'll probably continue. I think people really have enjoyed having the item they can see, and you can buy for multiple kids and instead of doing a bunch of forms online. I did want to share. I did ask
You're making the Holy World come.
Because we're going to be athletics, I wanted to be able to share with you all what they're going to do with
I have
it.
something important here going on, okay?
They had 3 goals, so any money we give will be used towards these goals, along with any other fundraising they as athletics do. They're going to try to get an athletic van or some sort of shuttle van. They're planning to do renovations on the field, and then they want to offer sponsorships for any families in hardship to help pay those athletic fees. So any money we give to them will go into their funding that supports these initiatives for the year. So I wanted you all to know that, but I think it's great that we're able to kind of give back, and any additional sales for that shirt throughout the whole year will still go to them. But I don't expect we'll have quite as big as we did this first run of it. Any questions? We don't promote it, but the teachers are they contact us a little bit and let them know that it's there, so they don't want us to like promote it, and then they are the ones who decide if the child is qualified. Okay. Yeah. We haven't someone else heard of it before. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I had added a line in, and then it looks like I took it out for the athletics. Are we going to track?
We moved it to the school support as an expense. We're along with
Athletic support.
Yeah, that's okay. We put it there. You've had it. You've stayed there.
I know.
Yeah, we played with the budget still probably isn't 100%. We've played with it a lot in the last few days. Any other questions about spirit wear? I know that's a big one. Good. The only other thing under fundraising that I wanted to touch on, along with the changes over who's in charge of what, we kind of decided to give the candygrams, squishygrams to student council. It seems like a really great thing for their students to be in charge of, and they already did the middle school part anyway, and so it's 25, 50-cent increments. It seems something great. The kids can come early and collect it from classes and count it and put the stickers on the candy. So we thought it makes a few $100s, and that's something the kids could do. So we're passing that on to be a student council fundraiser, not PFI. Campus beautification. Sheila wasn't able to come, so Graham sent me hers a few minutes ago. Let me read hers. Graham is over our indoor. You decorated. Do you want to talk about what you did?
Sure.
You did the work.
Showed up and we cleaned out the closet together and kind of organized by season, got rid of some things that were lingering that we didn't quite need anymore, but now you can walk in and see what we have. It's all in certain spaces and it'll be easy to grab and put out. We have a good amount of wreaths and keepsakes. We hung up, I had my kids with me, hung the wreaths up on the doors around and did the fun little things in the lobby areas. I'm assuming we'll switch over to fall sometime too.
Well, that's what she shared with me. She said she hopes in the next few weeks that we can switch to the fall. I don't think she has a date. And then we have a bunch of volunteers that said they want to help. So I had asked Cody if she wanted to take point. She said, no, but I'll help decorate. So
I know. I just don't know if I can commit to that or organization of it all. But I'm participating.
So Graham will probably make some sort of a sign-up genius, and then we'll have you and anyone else who wants to
doing
help.
work.
Well, you already know what's in those cups, so you being there would be awesome to be like, okay, I remember what you did.
Right.
We had a ton of stuff for fall and for
Yeah,
winter.
quite a lot. And I feel like we've got to enjoy it for a couple months.
There was some stuff with tags on it, though. Like, so we can open all this fresh new stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have anything from that related. And otherwise, we all just know she does a great job outside.
I've got a couple things.
Okay, sure.
From Janice, we had some volunteers take more posts to paint for outside. So there were like 8 or 10 that were going to be newly painted and put around the campus. And I just finished painting a sign for the 4th grade butterfly garden. And then there's also a Girl Scout troop butterfly garden, and the troop made a sign for that. So those will be put out pretty soon.
Great. Well, I know that she's been very active in like getting people to do the whole adopt a spot thing, which does everybody know what that is? Okay. Yeah, she's excited about it and done a lot. So, any questions on beautification? Looks like Emma's got the floor.
Sure, school pictures, fun. The school picture date is October 3rd. Brittany has left, but I sat finger the date when I was sending the blurb to Brittany, posting the connection. So Jan's getting emails. I just got some emails there. I just saw, is it the 3rd or the 13th? It is the 3rd. It was my fat finger. I read that blurb a couple of times and I did not see that one. So it is the 3rd. And of course, it will go out next week too.
It's on the thing.
It's on the form that was sent home today, like the kids took home. We got our flyers. So flyers went home today in the Thursday folder. So it's the 3rd on there, and it's signed at Genius, and everything else that I've sent has the 3rd, except the 3rd. Okay, so we'll get that fixed for next week. But it's the 3rd of October, and it's going to be this year in the middle school building because we cannot use the gym. The gym has classes. So we have been asked to use the middle school library, which is kind of neat because we were going to use the middle school library and then we will offer the stage back here to use if we needed more space. But I had Matt, our representative from Life Touch, come out and look at the space and see if we can get all 3 cameras in that space and we'll put there. The only thing though, I am a little bit, I'm considering kind of switching things up a little bit this year than how we had it done previously. We had all of the grade level come to the gym, what was the gym, at one time. So from top of it, Matt, I think we can break it up a little further. They can actually shoot one class in 10 minutes. So that's, well, actually he said 7 minutes, but the other 3 would just be for transition. And it's true because we have 3 cameras. If we have 20 students, we split them up 7, 7, and 6. And we just shoot those kids. He said 1 minute per child. And those are more breaks, of course, like first grade and kindergarten will take a little bit longer to get them settled. But from second grade on, I think it was just smoother. We also have to factor in that we now have 5 kindergarten and 5 first grade. So even though we are using the special time slot, it is going to have some time constraints for those 2 classes. So we would probably run over a little bit for those 2, but we'll see how best we can condense it. Like the time that we make up from, we could make up the time from the other classes that go along a little bit quicker. So those are some of the things that still came around with like the schedule-wise, how to schedule this children. But my other big pet peeve about previous years, and this could not be held, and I told Jessica had done it before, and because we're scheduling during special time, when my kids were in kindergarten and they took their pictures after 12, they were a mess. Like you can see like stains on the shirt, and I actually had to have 1 retake. So that was the only thing that I know some parents are going to say like, oh, they're kindergarten, why can't they convert? But it's the way their special fall. I don't know if I can change that to say, but I'll do my best to try to schedule them and probably have, the volunteers that we request when they come, take their pictures, kind of make sure that they're all organized. We've done that in the past. We've gotten them mostly all clean and they hair all home.
Can you ask Brian little kids to bring like an extra shirt that
we probably can. And they usually do have one in their backpack. They usually have a changing in their backpack. So sometimes, they can notice that you can grab that shirt and change it.
The classes provide the cones, or did we buy cones once? Because I know once we had cones available.
No, I requested that. So I requested it from
share.
And they don't have to share cones, Gina. One cone per one cone per hand, and then we throw that one out. So we do
what if you forget?
We're good about that. We throw them out. So I actually requested 9 volunteers per time slot, just because I wanted to have like 3 at each camera. If I do go the route where I have only 1 or 2 classes in there at a time, I may not need 9, but I'm still going to leave it just in case some people, can't make it at the last minute. I'm covered. So I'm just going to leave it as is. To your point, Rebecca, that you made earlier in giving the folks the volunteer for in the database for dates on the slot, I did that and I've gotten my goal so far, so that's working pretty well, I think. And now, exactly. And now we get the connection. So I think that's all that I have on
picture day.
Do they allow you guys to, or allow the parents to approve the pictures? Or no? Okay, no.
Well, and the reason we have a choice to either do pre-orders or you get the pictures and then order later. And they used to do it where you ordered later. When we switched to pre-orders 3 years ago or something, our sales significantly increased. So we actually sell a lot more by parents who just buy it. There is an option for retakes, but we were very like, we can't do the whole school again. So it's like, you really want to retake, you can contact, well, again, maybe kind of demos, she can schedule you in, but we would rather just take a retake and give a refund, but it's apparently we made a lot more when we did the pre-sale, so that's why it's stuck it that way.
You know, that first one when we did kindergarten, I love buying these pictures because I don't know how they're going to look, but they do look good. So I just went ahead and ordered, and they're fine.
I know I'm a first grader, and so last year I was the first time where I had to do the pre-payment and the pre-order. I was like, well, I don't know, she's going to look good. But,
and it's a great memory anyway. If they're not smiling, then a couple of years from now you look back and say, look, your second grade daughter, look, you're not smiling. But it's kind of like fun to have those to look back on. When I finish with the schedule, when I'm done with the schedule, I need to send it off to the business principals, and then they will review it and then communicate to the teachers. I think that's the way the process works here. And then of course I'll understand that. So I think we are in good shape, except that blur.
It just made people think twice.
Exactly. You know what? I was just testing you guys to see if you were paying attention.
Well, and I did ask Brittany and Mayor, I said anyway, I said this is probably good practice. If you see dates come in, just double check it with, we're all working together, so this way we can kind of catch each other before we go public. So it was a good learning experience for all of us to just double check. I check the calendar all the time, and I'm just like, wait, if I notice problems, I'm the first to point them out. Like, hey, you made a mistake here, you want to change it, but yeah, so. All right, any questions on that before we move over to the budget and everything? All right, Brian, you got like multiple bullet points.
Okay, so we have adjusted our budget just a little bit for the year.
Before you do, I do have a couple extra copies. If anybody would you, we do have a couple extra. Since there's not a lot of people here, you guys are welcome to follow along.
So just a few things, and Rebecca's gone through a lot of the items already, such as taking out Candy Graham income and adding in Charlotte Checker income, which now I don't know if that's going to go to, so we have to figure that out. We will take that.
But we had some money, we had some stuff to play with on it, so that makes sense.
Yes. And then, so with this just small change, it's barely anything. And expenses, we added a section in our budget for school donations, and we don't have any budget in there for those yet. We adjusted the budget slightly for events that have already taken place, kindergarten popsicles, new school mixer, open house, those things. And we removed the budget, as Rebecca was saying earlier, for some of the events that we're not going to be responsible for any longer. So the way I have the budget right now is our income. So our income is up $150 and our expenses are down $845. But I don't think that is
a couple things I've played with. Like I said, Fran and I have been going back and forth on this all week. And the reason being, I didn't get any confirmation on all of those events until this week, and so I've been waiting. We couldn't finalize the budget until we knew if we needed to have money for these activities. So with all the changes that we made, I have a couple. One is a question, and I want to get your opinion on it, and Fran, you too. But The spirit night, we have a zero. The school donations, we have a zero. The reason being, it will wash out. Should we have, like, we expect to make $100 at each of the spirit nights, and therefore we expect to get, like, should we have the money in the budget on both accounts, even though it will equal, or should we keep them at zero? Does that make sense? You know what I'm asking? Okay, like,
so we can see, because a lot of things we say, so we
should
can
be
see.
instead we expected to make $125, and then we know that money's going to go to 5th grade, but maybe they don't spend it all, so then they get $100, and they didn't spend the whole $100. Do we need to put those numbers in, or do we just leave them all at zero?
I mean, if we want, we can put them in and then just put another line underneath that basically zeroes it out, just so we can get, like, if we're
well,
not
it would cancel in, like, the donations would cancel the event.
yeah.
In the big picture, like, do we want to show expectations, I guess, in advance, or do we just want to keep them at zero? Does anyone else have, like, good money ideas? Like,
I have a question.
Yeah, I would.
Okay, so when the spirit nights come in, we do need to show the money that did come in, and then we also need to show the money leaving the account.
Right.
Does that, so then once we get that payment from Chick-fil-A, does that go to Lena, and then she disperses that to, and the disbursements are actually from Lena and not from us?
We were thinking that we would hang on to it, and then 5th grade would put in for whatever they wanted. They may not spend all the money. And then if they spent $125 of it, that extra amount would just go into the PFI pot at the end of the year.
So if they use it or lose it?
I think
it's
so.
not going to roll over?
I don't think it would roll over. That's kind of how it's communicated it to them. Like, you have up to 100, and you have up to whatever you make, and whatever else you
Are they aware that if they don't use it, they lose it?
I think
Because right now it's
but I don't know if I
mean, it's being advertised. You get this money. I don't know if there is any stipulations put on that money. And if there were, it needs to be clear what it is. And then you're also going to need more line items to show your disbursement.
Is that what the school donation part is?
No, for your spirit night. Because
Right,
they
that's
come
why
in with their,
that's what we
their
made
different
this
things.
section
Oh, you made a
for.
second.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I missed
that's okay. That's cool. Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird. So we made the school donation part, which is all the places. So, like, concessions would be made under, like, the event or whatever, and then it would go to student council or go to drama. So this would be where it goes out. And we've really been playing with this, trying to make it sure that we had it as, like, into the next, which is really confusing. So
I mean, what you could do to kind of project your budget is take your total from last year, divide it between how many people are doing your spirit night,
that way we
and
don't
then,
zero.
right, then you don't have your zeros, you know there's going to be some sort of money. Yeah, that's the best way probably, is just evenly divide it between what you made last year amongst how many are participating this year for that.
Okay. And then whatever we think we'll make.
And then whatever, correct.
Okay. That's what I was thinking, because I thought all the zeros seemed a little weird, but we hadn't gotten that far yet. So we'll have to finalize a few things, I guess, on that. So yeah, all the things that I highlighted a bunch, all the ones with zero. And then the same thing with the checkers, like we can leave it at the 500, but then we need to put middle school or these other grades might be a little bit, or maybe even those under other, and it'll be a little bit higher. We just don't know where it'll go yet, based on what tickets they sell.
Now, when they come and they ask for, we're purchasing this, how are you documenting this is where it came? Like, is the disbursement actually coming from the PFI account?
What we did
for them to do are using the credit card and then delivering it to them that way?
Well, what we did with the grant last year was they would buy the items and then we reimbursed them, and so we would tag it as a checker. So I guess it could go either way. A lot of the times with the grants, we just let them buy it, and then that way we and so maybe it'd be where Lena approves it and she buys it and we reimburse the school, or the teacher itself buys something and we reimburse the teacher. Now they could come to us and be like, will you purchase it for us? And we could, but I don't think that's been completely hashed out, to be honest. We probably need to think through that a little bit more. I will look up what I told 5th grade, but I believe I put in there you will have up to the amount
and anything you don't spend. But I think I told them that, but I don't know that we said it for the other grades, besides an introduction that each grade sponsors a spirit night. But I didn't want to just give the money over and then just sit and they don't feel like they can spend it. You know, I felt like maybe they'd feel more freedom to get something a little bit more interesting for their grade and it was kind of monitored by PFI. That was kind of my gut, but what do you guys think about that idea? I mean, that can definitely be a discussion.
I think probably just drop with their policy as to how it's going to. Obviously, there aren't any stipulations as to what can be bought with it as long as the educational value.
And I said they have to get approval from the administration before actually buy some that they have.
Well, obviously, yeah. So, you know,
we want to get this, and then the administration's like, you bought what?
and then that there isn't a rollover. That does not cover. So if they're thinking, oh, we have this money, but we can bake it, so we can use it to get something big, they need to be clear that it does not roll over.
But I think the reason for not rolling over is the whole point is to benefit the students that are there right now.
Right.
And that's why 5th grade actually asked to go first. They were like, if you go first, we'll be able to use the money on the kids that are there, and they might not stay, some of the kids might not stay, and they didn't want them to not get the benefit. So that was their motivation behind it. Some of the people at the end of the year, obviously, it's not as, but.
Well, then what would you do with middle school that they're hoping maybe they can use this money for, you know, Camp Thunderbird next year?
Well, really, then what do you, well, it's all, that's all middle school, doesn't it? Incentivize the middle school students, so any middle school student who goes doesn't benefit. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, because we didn't break it down by grade, it was just middle school.
Thought it'd be more beneficial to group them all.
Well, absolutely.
No, that's a great question.
Or if they decide, okay, we're going to take this lump sum and we'll split it up between the grade levels to use for, you know, their trips that they take to help offset the cost, but they're basing it for the following school year.
Going forward, it would make sense because you're always making for the next grade. It's just this first year.
Now, I don't know how they plan or if they already have it earmarked, but if you're presenting me, what is the hard fast rule on that? Especially for the ones that are towards the end of the year.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know the pretty answer for that. We may find answers for that, but those are good questions. This is our experimentation that may not be effective.
Or do we just allow them to roll over a certain amount?
Maybe. I am curious to see what they're going to ask to spend it on. Because are they going to do like materials? Are they going to do a celebration? Are they going to, you know, like I know I had, you know, we give the teachers the cash, and one teacher, or Ms. Baker told me she used it to buy the cake that they celebrated the teacher, so she used it to give back to the school instead of spending her own money. So there might be times that they, you know, they're going to do a reward for their students, and they may have otherwise paid for it, and now, you know, I don't know if that's the kind of stuff. Are we putting requirements on what they can use it on, or as long as it goes back to their grade? I don't know. I mean, it is not defined, I guess. So we need to define it. Maybe we can ask fifth grade their thoughts and then, you know, be first, come up with something loose, but then also at least be front on it. Like we're still figuring out how it works. We want to make sure the students benefit that.
I think the most important thing truly for them is to understand that it doesn't roll over.
Do you think it should, or does it make sense that it doesn't?
I mean, I don't see why it shouldn't. If they work to get that money, why should we take it away? If it's, I mean, because there was other things that we had discussed previously, and it's a use it or lose it per year. Great, I understand that, I get that, but when they're actually, I mean, they put their skin in, and they're trying to make it work, so I don't think we should penalize them because they just didn't use it. You know?
Do you think they would roll it over until like the following grade? It would roll over.
Wait, does it follow the students or stay with the teachers? I would assume it would stay.
I would assume it would stay with that grade level, not necessarily those teachers, because sometimes the teachers move different grade levels.
Maybe we can ask them to, like you're saying, maybe they can roll over 15%. So they have to spend the majority of it on the students that are there. But if they spend $115, they get to roll over that remaining balance because they didn't have to go nickel and dime. Because then it keeps them from being like, well, let me go spend every penny to buy some crap that I just want to roll through.
I really don't need it, but I have to use it.
That's a good point. So do we need to decide on a percentage, or do we have an idea of What do you guys think as far as?
I think that makes sense, but I want to encourage them to spend it on their scholars.
Not wrong with it, but I hear what you're saying, but
what's everybody else think? You gotta have a plan.
Yet not wanting to roll it over, sorry, Fran. But I also see Sarah's point where, I mean, are we going to force them to buy things that they don't really want or need just because they're going to use it or lose it? Or do we just say, okay, you spend $100 and you made $135, you can pay $35. And
I feel like in insult anything, I would be so shocked if
they didn't put it
What if they have undefined, it doesn't go to, to whatever's left from all the grades gets used for some, like we spend it on something, but if they don't, we're not just not tracking where it goes, like if it's a certain amount of money left over, we're going to buy more, I don't know, we can use it on some parties, or we can use it on like some goodies for the end of the year, or something, I don't know. Something where we can guarantee that it will be spent if they don't spend it, but I'm not sure. Good luck with that. Well, maybe that's what it is. Anything that's left over is used by your hungry parents for your end of your party.
I was going to say, whatever is not used, that would be good, because each grade would have that much.
They can then use that money for something, so we can
because then you have to choose something that every single grade is going to need if they're going to roll it over to somebody else. And it's hard to find something that everybody's going to need.
And the May date is the EC department, so the last grade level is actually April. So that's plenty of time for us to figure out the numbers, divide it out, decide, and then it keeps it in PFI's homeroom parents is under us. You can somehow be like, okay, grade level homeroom parents, your grade didn't spend $18, so you can use that money for whatever. Let us know what you need. We can buy it on Amazon or something like that. Does that sound? Maybe that's a good idea. And then we can see how it goes this year and change it if we need to for next year. Any other thoughts on that? All right. I'll try to write something up so it's more defined. So we want them to spend the money, but it doesn't all have to be for the one thing. So the other thing I had in here, the school donations should equal the Spirit Night, all those things. So those numbers, even though they say zero, they won't affect the actual income or expense at the end of the day. So I did think we should add, we had zero under wish list, but she actually has already spent some money to make boxes. In the anticipation that there might be some more money spent, I was thinking maybe we do put $100 in that account, which would actually leave us at $540 after we moved the Checkers Night out of it. And because Amy had said, she had some great ideas for Teacher Appreciation Week, but she had said the $650 budget was going to be difficult. She is the only person who has commented on her budget. It may not work this year. So I was thinking we could increase that, and that would help our income expense net be closer to zero, because it should be zero. So the other thing was the field day salad bar. We were talking about including we usually include volunteers. We put 300, but that maybe is a really modest amount. We do ask for donations, but we could put a little more money into that account as well. Does anyone have any thoughts about increasing either of those line items with the extra $540 in the budget? We want to put it all under Teacher Appreciation Week, and whatever's left after that can go towards field day, because that comes after. She has some great ideas she shared with me. Well, she wants to make it a lot better than I get it. She has these ideas.
Okay, she's got the teacher debug.
stuff that needs to be bought. I've got some cute little signs that have fun sayings and items to go with it. She sent me like a lot of screenshots. She's got a lot of ideas, and hopefully some stuff will be donated. But honestly, I love that she's excited and she's thinking about this now, not a week before the event. So I'm hoping that it should be really special for the staff.
How much does she want to increase?
She didn't give me a specific number. She just commented that that budget might be difficult.
That's what's hard.
Yeah, I don't know if I can go back to her or you and just say, what did she pick that hard? What do you, like how much would you, what would be reasonable? Or?
Are there any other line items that we might want to, that we feel like we might need to increase? Because we really should have a net zero at the end if we can. Obviously, if we have anything, it should be income, not expense, but our budget, our goal should be zero in the end. So is there any others that need adjustment that you all can see? I know you haven't had this for long, so it's okay if you can't tell, but... All right, well, let's just go back to Amy then, find out what she thinks she needs. We do have about $500 to play with, and if we dump it all in there, if she thinks she needs that much, I'm not opposed to that. So, any other thoughts on this particular? There are a lot of items that have not posted yet. So the numbers, the actual numbers in that first column. There's a lot of stuff that we'll be posting. So by next month, we'll have a lot more action going on in there as far as what's actually come in and out.
The biggest number is the spirit where the invoices haven't been paid yet. So right now it says $9,500, and that's going to be lowered by. It's like $6,800. So I don't have the exact number here. $6,807.97. So so this is all the pure rip income is in here, and I have to pay the invoices. So $68,07.97 will be paid. So that's why that one was so high.
So I feel a little weird about us approving the budget because we're still revising the budget. I feel like we should wait, and then maybe next month we can approve August through October as 1 month and have the final budget by then. Because I don't want to approve numbers that aren't final. Is everyone okay with me delaying that? Okay. Yeah, I didn't think we could say yes to something that looks crazy to us. So the next thing is the audit committee, and we'll let Fran talk about it, but the officers have already spoken in depth about it. So we will tell you that and then we need to approve it.
So we did. So we have discovered that we need to form an audit committee to review our financial records, our budget, and things like that. So this came about through the board of directors, the guidelines, and also we pay insurance to AIM each month for if, say, money was stolen from the PFI bank account is one example, and in this insurance policy, it states that we need to be auditing our records. So through a few different avenues, we discovered we need to form an audit committee, of which when the officers spoke, we were thinking it would consist of one officer and then somebody maybe just from the general parent population who would volunteer to audit. So we need to start with last year's records and then going forward audit maybe each month or whatever timeline we decide how often we would like for records to be audited. So that's pretty much it. So it's basically, last year, we have a whole binder. It has our Bank of America bank statement, all the support for checks that were written out. Somebody would have the audit committee needs to review our check register, make sure nothing, no checks or numbers are missing or skipped or something, and, any disbursements, things like that. So, everything is organized in there, and really there's a lot of support and stuff for everything there. This year, we started to use QuickBooks. So now we have QuickBooks, Bank of America. We have Square, which we use for Spiritware. So these are all systems and things, statements and whatever that all need to be checked and reconciled. And then separately, it's always good to have, extra eyes just looking over things. If there's a process that maybe somebody thinks could be improved or things like that, it's always helpful, to do these audits. So, Sarah, you had volunteered generously to be our officer. I don't know if you're still interested.
So what we need to do is officially vote to create the audit committee first, and then we can appoint Sarah, and then we can open it up. We can decide if we want to post it in the connection or just maybe someone else volunteer while I mentioned that they're doing numbers. Does anyone have any questions before we motion? Any additional questions, comments about it?
And Rebecca and I cannot do the audit or be involved with it because we have access to the banking account and things like that. So it has to be separate. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm out.
I know you're there.
I look at it and out. Just look at everything. All right, can we get a motion to develop a PFI audit committee?
Yes, absolutely.
Will anyone second the motion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Great. If you oppose, you're on the committee. So then also, can we have a motion to nominate Sarah as the officer on the audit committee?
Yes, I motion.
Okay. And I heard Gina in there again too. All in favor of Sarah? Aye. Great. So now, discussion-wise, how do we go about finding? First of all, is anyone in the audience today interested in being on an audit committee? So you get first dibs.
I think my husband would actually be great at it.
Okay, do you want to
He would kill you. But I'll go home and talk to him about it. And I think he would be good at collaborating.
Well, and really, like Karen said, doing last year's will be the goal. Going forward, a monthly review is nothing, and what our insurance wants, I believe, is to have like a signed this month's statement, just signatures that you approved it. So hopefully once the bulk of reviewing and getting them caught up from this not being done would be the big thing. And then after that, hopefully it's easy. So, yes, you just follow up with us after you talk to them. And then I was thinking we try to have 1 to 2. It doesn't have to be 2 members, but do we want to, in the case that he's not interested or something, how would we want to go about promoting it? Do we want to have that promoted to the connection or more of a quiet, people you know kind of conversation?
I still think we have 2 just as a backup. So if he's interested in speaking on his own or occasionally something signed, then someone would step in, like a backup.
So 3 people.
No, just
Well, Sarah.
I got you.
How would we go about?
Probably go through the volunteer sheet.
what about the database volunteer?
Start with that. I think start with that.
That's what we already have how many people. Right. Okay.
Might as well use this, you're right.
All right. Any other questions for Fran? Money relations? Anybody? All right. I have a few things. Oh, one thing I did want to say. I added this. It's not on the agenda, but I did want us to mention it. We don't have to finalize it today, but I want to get your brains thinking. We have talked about moving money into a project account. We still have not developed that account, but we are almost ready to. Basically, we don't have in our budget to buy something big for the school. 2 years ago, we bought the sunshades. This year, we bought the water fountain bottle refillers. There's usually extra money. We usually spend less than we think we will and make more than we think we will, and so we've ended up with extra money. And we want to be smart about it, putting it into a separate account. Our idea was that the money that PFI has in our bank account should be equal to anything we need to do business that year. And then anything we earn this year is essentially paying for next year. So we're always working ahead. So we wanted to make sure we had enough money in our account at the start of this year to fund the whole year. So once our budget is completely finalized, we will be able to know what that number looks like. Preliminary estimations are about $10,000 can go into that project account already. That's already enough money to do something with. Or we could save for something bigger. My thought, and I want this to be something we start thinking about together, it doesn't have to be an end of the year gift. When we did elections last year, we went ahead and put on there a poll of what people want. A lot of people wanted like enhancements to the courtyard, or I can't remember everything, but there were a lot of things that people wanted. People talked about like the covered walkways. I don't know how much all this stuff costs, but we could start thinking about real things we would like to give back to school. We don't have to finalize closing numbers, but we could get estimations, and then we could actually come back and say, what do we want to work towards? And not just be arbitrarily, oh, we got some money, let's see what we can get. But like, let's go ahead and start thinking about it. Once we make a decision, start getting the approval from the board. So by the time we're ready to spend money, like we've gone through all of that, and then we can be like, okay, we want to get this. It costs $20,000. Maybe it takes 2 years to get there, but then we're working toward the goal. I like the idea of doing that, but I want us to come to the table with ideas and realistic number of cost of things, and then we can present that in a poll to the families. Here's 5 things that we are interested in doing. Which should we work towards? And then let them vote on, or come to a meeting, we vote here on what are we going to do with the money, and maybe more people will be here because they can decide we're voting. I don't want to do that, so people don't. So, how do you guys feel about coming next month with ideas? And then we should have a finalized budget and know what number we're starting with, and then we can maybe by November or December be voting on what PFI may be working towards next. Can we use the next month to sort of think through ideas? Yeah. You got an idea right now?
Well, I don't want to say it loud. So.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I think that's what it is. Just saying.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the story about.
I know that some parents have asked about security at school when it comes to, there's a mechanism that you put under the doors that you can lock the doors. I know that because of the events at the beginning of the year, a lot of parents were asking what are the security systems in the school, and I know that a lot of them have said that if they have to help buying those kind of security for the doors, they will do it. So
don't they have them? Yeah. No, not the outside doors, like
the inside. So teachers can lock their kids inside.
Right, do they have those doors stopped?
Yes.
You stop. They have them.
I think it's something a little more secure.
Okay. I know they have them.
Yeah, no.
It's like a board account.
Oh, okay.
For addiction.
Happy
let's
foolproof.
I don't want to get into too many ideas right now, but let's plan on some time in October to discuss that, and we can promote that in some way to the families to come with your ideas, and we'll have a time where we kind of go from there and let people present and just make a master list and then go from there what people really want. Yeah, that was the last thing I added on. So I have a few things in new business. I know it's getting late, so I'll try not to keep you guys too long. Quickly, I just want to let you know, for anyone who's seen those memo boards that say, right now it's still back to school, we had 2 last year that were at those carpools. One was broken, so we just got rid of it. There is not one left. Last year, the 5th grade Greek squad managed the letters for me. I made a Google sheet of what I wanted them to say, and the girls handled it about halfway through the year. I didn't touch that board again, which was awesome, and they're willing to do that again. So I went ahead and told Janice, why don't we just let the school have the boards? It no longer has to be owned by PFI. The 5th grade squad can manage it. We don't have a lot of stuff we need to promote. To let them plan what's most important to the school at the moment. So just so you guys know, I sort of donated that to the school and said, we don't even, I might send a message to you, and if it takes priority, you can put it up there, hey, PFI meeting or something, but besides Chick-fil-A nights and PFI meetings, we don't really have anything that we ourselves need on there, so that's that. So teacher grants, we voted last month to change the name to Think It Grants, which is Innovative Teaching Grants. The application has been reviewed. Again, I have a few actually if you guys want to read them. The application was reviewed by administration and changed, and we came up with our deadline submission. It was asked, last year was October, January, and March or April. It was asked that we actually make the deadline in December. So anything that is approved to be purchased over the break and implemented in December, so that's why we have 2 so quickly. Usually they get submitted. The officers will plan a meeting to review them, and then we let them buy the materials and we reimburse them. So we basically just need to, I want you all to approve. It's already, admin's already reviewed it. I don't think there should be any changes, but if you notice anything that you think needs to be changed, we did also increase the amount from $250 to $300 this year because that was pretty normal, people spending more than the $250. Any additions, comments? If you need more time to look at it, that's fine. But I did change the rubric instead of it being out of 100 because it was really hard to scale something on a scale of 1 to 20, so I just made it 1 to 5.
Yeah.
So now it's out of 40. I remember every time we had to score these, we're like, how do we do something of 17?
I know.
I can get them a 4. So I did change. And then we also added in the part about deferring it. We have said that we will break it into the 3 periods. We have 2,700 budgeted. We will have 900 allotted for each period, which is essentially 3 grants approved. We could get 5 really good grants. So 2 of them we might roll over into the next period. So it's sort of encouraging people to really come up with something good. We have awarded something in the past because they were the only ones that got it. Not necessarily that it was amazing. So hopefully we can have a bunch and we can really choose the best. We can share the rest with administration if there's anything they want to buy on their own. Or else we can roll it over, or we can send back with hey, can you define a few things and resubmit for the next period. So I added the deferred section as far as the application decisions. So people don't think we're just completely, there might be some that are just denied because it's not fit, but a lot of them sometimes they just need to tweak it a little bit. So, any questions or comments or changes?
How is it being marketed to the teachers?
They get an email. I put a flyer in each of the lounges today.
Okay.
With Janice has a Google Drive that she created this year that they're calling the Hub, and so she's going to put the application on there because a lot of times they didn't know where to get it. So now they have a central place they can download it. And then after tonight, I'll ask please send an email out hey, remember, here's the application. Remember, you can start submitting for these. But yeah, I hung a flyer and put it on these 2 embroidered paper. Being like, PFI has money for you. So that's great, because the first one's in a few weeks. October is a few weeks from now, so hopefully we get some applications. Anything or anyone give a motion to officially approve this application and put it into action? Excellent. All changes are good. Anybody want a second hammer? Let's do it. All right. All in favor of the application moving on? Great. Last thing on my new business was we've done the magnets for the last few years. When people earn 36 hours, Janice has a team that writes them a note, gives them a magnet as appreciation. 2 years ago, we did gold medal, thinking about the whole group, Olympics and all that. Last year, we did blue ribbon. Do we want to come up with a new theme for this year? Do we want to decide now? Does anyone have ideas? Do we want to decide later? We don't have to buy them this month. Usually we're not buying them until January, but I wanted to go ahead and put it out there since now it's a thing we do. We've done it for the last 2 years. What our theme might be for this year. Work with Big Sheet Out. And that can be something we brainstorm this month as well. Yeah. Come back next month with, but before, yeah. So be thinking about themes. What I want to do is, unless anyone has, I want to open it up to questions. If anyone has anything else,
I did one more thing on the business.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had marked about on mine. She could come, and we have not spoken yet.
Okay.
And so I just said, well, I marked about on mine. Like, we'll have to touch that later. Because they don't have yearbooks, she and I have not had a chance to talk, and since she was going to be here tonight, I didn't want to.
Definitely come with pictures.
I'll have to follow up with her and see, but I just marked about. I forgot that I didn't tell you all of our stuff. Yeah, since she wasn't here, I don't want to talk about it when she's not present. Yeah. So, I have a few people who have brought questions up that are not necessarily something PFI can do, but what I have offered is I can take the question from the parents and then present it to administration as, here's some concerns of the parents we want to share with you. I am willing to stay as late as anyone wants. Some of the things have to do with carpool, after-school programs, things like that. I would like to close the official meeting, and then I'm willing to stay and collect questions from anybody that I will then take to administration on your behalf. You're also welcome to go on your own, but that way, just we can say, hey, the parents had some feedback, and I can share that. So, any questions related to anything we talked about on the agenda there before we officially close the meeting? All right. Well, then, we will end this.